My sermon today is gratitude through surrender. Amen. One thing that God has been teaching me, it's so hard to live a life of gratitude. It's so hard to live a life of thanksgiving if you have not surrendered. And I was looking at the meaning of gratitude and the definition of surrender. And the meaning of gratitude is the quality of being thankful. It's readiness to show appreciation. And on the other side, I was looking at the meaning of surrender. Surrender is the act of being yielded. It's the act of abandoning what you think, what you know is the way to the way of God. Like the meaning of surrender according to the word. And also it is a way of resigning and giving up to the culture, giving up to the way things are used to be. And you're giving up to the structure of the world, you're giving up to the system of the world, and now you're taking the manual of God. Amen. It's become so hard to live a life of gratitude every day if you have not surrendered. You know why? Because when you have not surrendered, you live a life of entitlement. It is normal to wake up every day. It's normal for you to be in good health. You have that entitlement. Ni haki yangu. You know? And when you have that entitlement that you're supposed to have what you have, it is like, I remember I was in a shop, I was buying something, and the child said, "Thank you" to the shopkeeper. Baba yake akamwambia, "Unasema asante kwa nini na pesa ni yako?" Sina wewe umepea shopkeeper pesa. So there are things that we have been given, unless you realize that it is not your right to have those things, it will be so hard to live a life of thanksgiving. And God has been teaching me that we are living in a generation that is always looking for the fault of other people. We are living in a generation that is always complaining about everything. You're complaining about your family, you're complaining about your friends. When you go to a certain school, you're complaining about that school, you're complaining about your parents, you're complaining about your church, you're complaining about your pastors. You'll always find fault in someone else. Unless we come to a place, for example, like I love my church so much. If you come to realization of this is a church that God has given you, anything that you see in the church, whether good or wrong, when you're looking from the lenses of surrender, it will be so easy for you to be grateful. I'm grateful for this magnificent building. I'm grateful for my pastors. I'm grateful for my leaders and all that. But if you look in the aspect, you're entitled to be in the church. You're entitled to say anything that you want. You're entitled to have your parents, whereas there are some people who don't have their parents. You'll never be grateful to what God has given you. Amen. And before I get deeper, I want to give you a personal story. I love giving personal story because somebody told me that God has allowed me to go through that story for me to tell. Amen. A story is a testimony. When I finished class 8, I passed and I expected to go to good schools. I had good grades. I expected to go to good school in the county of Embu. Unfortunately, hata after kupata hizo marks zote, imagine niliitwa day school. Niliendea barua nikaitwa day school, but sikwenda day school. Mungu alinihurumia. But there was this school that I went. Actually, Mr. Njoe wa protocol aliniambia ni neighbors wa hiyo shule. And Mr. Njoe told me when they were growing up, Mr. Njoe is there. When they were growing up, walikuwa naomba wanafanya bidii sana wasiende shule yenye nilienda. They were working hard wasiende hiyo shule yenye nilienda. But you see, that is the place that God called me. Yes, nimeitwa the school yenye ilikuwa karibu na shule yetu, mimi sijui kulienda aje. But no, my auntie was in that school, so she was head girl. Nikajua huku sitateseka, nikaenda huko. Mimi alikuwa atoke the next year. Sasa lazima ningepambana. I was a bright student in the first year form 1, nikafanya vizuri. But ikafika place, especially sisi watu tulikuwa na top marks, we started feeling no, you're not supposed to be in this school. And our marks started dropping drastically. You know? Because as students, we are psyching each other, no, we deserve better. We deserve good schools and all that. And from 3, I started complaining to my mom. And from 3, she promised me, June, I'll change your school. I'm telling you, I sold my uniform. I started telling people goodbye. Me, I'm going to a better school. Extra provincial in our county and all that. Aki niliuza uniform. And I told everybody goodbye. And I'm telling you, nilisoma mpaka form 5 huko. I went back. Watu wenye niliuza uniform nilianza kuwaitisha. And what I'm trying to say, when I look back after finishing my form 4, when I look back, I always reflect on my character. I reflect on how far God has brought me, and the person I am today, it is because of that school. Like that school molded, imagine Mr. Njoyo shule mlikuwa mnasema mtaki kwenda, that school molded my character. Like God, in its small way, I met people who grounded me in the place of God. I met counselors and all that, and they helped me even overcome my childhood trauma and all that. Amen. Imagine God uses even things that don't look good to shape you and me at a personal level, because destiny is personal. If I went to a national school, I would not be the person I am today, and I would not be molded to the person I'm becoming. Amen. And the same case applies to our families, and the same case applies to our church. And that is why I'm so profound when I speak about my church. I've seen pastors who have been raised from families who are practicing witchcraft. Baba yake na mama yake were practicing witchcraft, and God picks this child and raises him to be a powerful servant of God. I've seen God using people from families where there were drunkenness. Amen. I've seen God use people from families where their parents were practicing prostitution. You see, God is not a respecter of persons. And that is why the word is saying in John chapter 1 verse 10, it is not by a decision of a father and mother for a child to be born. It is by the decision of our Father in heaven, who said on 8th May 2000, I want Julian Wanyaga Karemi to be born in that family. It doesn't matter whether she will be raised by both parents or by one parent, but my purpose will still prevail. Okay. The purpose of God will still prevail. Amen. Whether you're raised by both parents or by one parent, the purpose of God will still prevail over your life. Amen. You see, God is not a respecter of persons. And God has been telling me we are living in a season. For example, God has positioned me in a specific family, but instead of looking from a place of gratitude, yes, I was born by Purity Karemi, in Bidan's family. That is where God positioned me. My mom gave birth to me when she was very young. I know she didn't plan, but it was a plan of God for me to be in that family. And when I find myself in that family, I ask God, regardless of the chaos in this family, what do you want me and you to do in that family? When God places you in a certain institution, in a certain church, instead of complaining, sijui kuna nini, let me use church. Sijui nani amefanya nini? Ask yourself, what is the position that God has placed you in that church, in that institution, in that family for you to perform? If it is friendship, we are living in a generation where people are disloyal, where people are unfaithful to one another, where people are betray their friends and all that. Instead of asking ourselves, these are the friends that God you have given me, how do you want me to serve them? How do you want me to show up? How do you want me to show up in my family? How do you want me to show up in my church? How do you want me to show up in my friend's life? How do you want me to serve the people that you have given me? If I had the mindset that I have today when I was in high school, I think I would pray for students wenye tulikuwa tunasoma na wao. I would preach. I would help even students who are struggling in academics to become better people. Amen. But then in my limited mind, I was focusing on all the wrong things of the school that God had positioned me. Amen. And I want to bring this question to us. How many times do we waste our time looking at the fault of the things that God has allowed us to be part of? How much time do we waste looking at the fault in our families? How many times do we waste time looking at the fault in our institution where you're employed instead of asking God? I came in this world with nothing, but all that I have, the academics and the qualifications that I have, the job position that I have, you have given me. But friends, we get to a place where we are very entitled. I'm supposed to be in this job. After all, I worked so hard. Mi kwanza KSL. Nimefanya, nikajua mbona watu wanapenda kuitwa wakili. Karibu nipeane disclaimer, mi mtoto niita June. Ni wakili. But you see, like we get to a place where we are so entitled. Amen. We are entitled for our jobs. We are entitled in our families. And that makes us not grateful. Amen.